Hi, everybody. Here you go.
Hi,
We're the UCLA girls. I'm Brenda.
I'm Mike Way, and today we're talking about college roommates. The question is, Brenda, do you still talk to your old roommates?
I depends on who because I talk to certain roommates. Also, if you didn't know, Mike Way is one of my roommates in college.
Oh, so yes, I do talk to my old roommates. Okay,
Maybe start with our dorming experience because that's the most common experience for freshmen coming into college.
yeah, so for me, when I started UCLA, I have one roommate that I know, and the other girl is a random. So it was the three of us, and I always feel like it's always awkward to be the new person where the other two know each other, and you're the only one that don't know each other. The only one that don't know the other two.
So, how did your experience over the course of that year play out?
I feel like because I didn't know the random girl, I have no expectations for her. Whatever she does goes. I don't really care. It's just she's just being her. But I feel like with my roommate that I do know, I feel like I have more expectations for her to act a certain way because I know her. And if she acts like out of character from what I know her, I'm like, why are you acting like this? But with the new girls, like, you can do whatever you want because I don't know you.
Yeah, I
What
see
about you?
that. So for me, I had two randoms that I lived with. So I lived in what we call a triple. It's three
Mhm.
beds, one room. And so I didn't know them at all. It was a really interesting experience getting to know them. And like you said, you have no expectations.
Mhm.
I kind of liked that because I was able to make more friends. And if it doesn't work out, I mean, I granted they weren't terrible roommates, which was a good thing, but it ended up giving me a way to meet more people that I usually
Mhm.
wouldn't interact with. So I like that experience. So now that we've given a background about dorming, let's kind of dive into like what is the experience living with random people versus people you know, pros and cons.
Okay, so the pro of okay, living with a random, it means that I feel like okay, I'll list one pro and then you can list another one. Okay, one pro I can think of is when you live with a random, you can straight out tell them what your expectation of them are and the housemate the rules for the space without being afraid they might be offended.
I agree with that. At least for me, and there's different personalities. Some people are more comfortable with their friends than strangers, but for me, I think it's easier to set your expectations with someone you don't know
Mhm.
versus when it's your friend. You're almost scared to be too straightforward with them because you're afraid of
Yeah.
offending them. So I
For
totally agree with
example,
that.
I
Yeah.
just thought of something.
What?
Remember how when we used to live with each other and there's toilet paper? Okay, so there's two type of people. The people who buy the thin one ply toilet paper, the people who buy 3 ply toilet paper. I feel like with my friend, it's harder for me to tell them, hey, buy better quality toilet paper.
In college, that's definitely a struggle.
I know because it's like you're telling it's harder to say that to a friend, but with a roommate, like you don't really know, you'd be like, hey, I really like this brand. Let's chip in and buy this brand. Because people just get very offended with little
Yeah.
things, especially if you're friends.
I think the another pro of living with someone you don't know is it helps you get along with different types of people. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I think what you're saying is you get along with people who align with what you care about. So you care about nice toilet paper, you care
Yeah.
about nice things in certain aspects, and you have a really cheap roommate, regardless of being a friend or random. That's going to be
Mhm.
difficult to live with because you're going to have to change who they are a little bit.
I know. So, what do you think? Do you think if someone is like starting college, do you think it's better for them to get a random roommate and risk all the bad that comes with a random? Or should I just pick someone they know from high school or someone they know, just be safe, but also have the chance of having that go terribly wrong?
I think it's better if to be realistically to be honest, it can go wrong even if you know them. So I think it's almost better you live with a random person because it's a really good experience for you to get to like expand your horizon and learn to live with others and be accommodating of different styles. Granted, I've never had an extremely bad roommate. I'm just saying, like, if they're like an average roommate or a little bit below average, I think a random works. I mean, you can
I
also
think,
transfer to different dorms if it gets that bad.
well, I have my through my first year, the third roommate, she actually transferred to a different dorm because she wanted a double. Like a but on her first night, the girl was like throwing up in the bathroom. So the girl was like, I'm coming. And then the next day she texts us, like, hey guys, apparently I'm moving back. There was some issues with the new roommate. I was like, okay, I guess we're stuck with you again.
So do you think her excuse of saying I want to move to a double was real, or she just really didn't? She wanted to get to know somebody better.
I think she grew up in Calabasas, so she's used to a big place, not like a triple that's really small. And plus, it might not be as comfortable being with two girls that know each other and you being the one girl.
That's true. Yeah, I agree. And I think the thing with three roommates is two of them always get closer than
And
one
then
of
you're
them.
like
I
alone.
was definitely the odd one out, but honestly, I didn't mind because I knew you and I knew other people. But I
Yeah.
always noticed that dynamic. Three people cannot equally get along. Like two people are going to get along like a little bit or a lot better.
Feel like in groups of friends, like three or four or five are always so awkward. It's either the three of them hang out, you get along, or one person. It's hard to keep that dynamic. Maybe it's best to be two people.
Yeah. So that's my thing. I think if I had one roommate, I would be really close to them. But because I had three, and I am pretty independent myself, if like two people get along really well, I don't feel the need to like butt in. So I'm just like, peace, gonna do my own
Yeah.
thing now.
I wonder how they feel when you always invited me to like do sleepover in the
They
door.
definitely did not like the fact that I asked if you could stay over while you were in the room next to me. Um,
Oh, whatever.
okay, last thing, let's talk about what's our experience living with our friends. And because we've already talked about living with a random person, how that can go wrong. Let's talk
Okay.
about people you know and
I
how that can go wrong.
okay, so I live with you and I also live with my friend from high school. We didn't have any issues at all our first year because we were together and that one girl was like the loner. But I felt like during the year where I invited my other friend to live with us, there was tension because my friend wanted to take the whole entire closet for herself. But the other girl wanted me to speak up for her and be like, yo, why are you taking half the closet? But because both of them are my friends, I couldn't say anything.
Oh, that's awkward.
And then that girl, I think, was mad at me for the whole entire year.
Oh my God. That does
But
sound like
it's
terrible.
like because when you have two friends and you don't know I'm like, what do you expect me to say? I mean, I did say in passing, I'm like, hey, if you're not here, you want to take all your clothes out? But then she's like, no, it's fine. I was like, okay. What about you?
I think the people I only knew was you.
Yeah.
You're my only roommate I knew. No, I think we got along really well, but I think we're the exception. Like if I think about my other friends, I feel like when I travel with them, there are moments where I definitely get kind of peeved or annoyed because we don't
Yeah.
align as well. But you and I think we really align.
Do you think it's because we live with a random girl? That's why we've got along because we were like together and she was the one odd one out.
Yeah. So that's the funny thing, like going back to the groups of three. So Mike Quay and I and another third person was a random. Me and Mike Quay were definitely really close and the third girl tried to butt in, but it never really happened. So I
We
do
give
think,
her a chance, but we actually talked to her too.
yeah, I think
But
the
it's
rule
just
of three.
different. But
Although, although
do
I
you
had,
think
go
it
ahead.
would have worked out between us if it's just me and you living together in the same space? And then we don't have that one girl we can like talk about?
I think so because in the beginning we never. I mean, she was totally fine the whole year. There were little things that came up like toilet paper issues, but that was it. I think, right?
I feel like once you find like perfect roommate, you won't have any issues.
Okay. Yeah,
We
that's
literally like if we left, there are days where we clean a lot, and there are days where we just like don't care. And I like that.
we aligned. Yeah, we aligned a lot. Okay, let's wrap it up with one quick 10-second funny like roommate story.
Okay. Um I can't think of what. Oh, I remember when we first moved in and we thought that our place had bed bugs. So at night I was like, hey Brenda, I found a bug. And we're like going through that couch that we bought cheap and we saw a stain and we started screaming. Remember?
Oh, that was funny. So we thought they were bed bugs, so we took a picture and sent it to like a Terminator. He's like, no, that's not a bed bug. And we're like, thank God.
But we screamed for no apparent reason.
My funny my funny story was when we had that third roommate when we were living together, and then she was using a lot of toilet paper. So we're trying to think of a way to tell her, hey, you gotta stop using so much toilet paper. Like she would use like a third of the roll, like for one use.
What was our reasoning?
You messaged and said, hey, is someone sleepwalking and using the toilet paper? I think it was just really random. You're like, hey, I think someone's using a lot of toilet paper when they're sleepwalking. And then after you said that, she like limited her use. But I thought that was
At
hilarious.
least we're being nice about it. I think that was like the nicest thing we can say.
All right. Okay, let's end it for now. And then next week we'll have another video.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.